source code is not time travel. Rather, source code is time reassignment. It gives us access to a parallel reality. Well, does it? Ooh. Well, we'll discuss that, shan't we? Okay, so welcome to the Science Fiction Rating System, and this week we are talking source code. Jake Gylenhaal. And with me, we've got Alex over there.
Hey.
Alex. How's it going?
Not bad, yeah, good. Yeah. Not bad.
Watch him, I just have a quick swig. And Sam.
Hello.
Sam's over there, just getting his cash back on his latest phone purchase.
Yeah, checking his finances.
Checking his finances. Pound bouncing back.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
He's walked out.
He's just noticed she's bought a hot tub on the
some illegal activity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's just stopping the transaction going through.
Yeah. I said joint account. Why are you taking it from the savings?
Sorry.
Sam runs a tight ship when it comes to finances, no doubt.
You've got, haven't you? Got to.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week we are continuing our alternative reality season.
I guess we are.
Less Gumbas in this one.
Yeah, less Gumbas.
Apart from us three.
And so this is a Duncan Jones movie. I'm a bit of a fan of Duncan Jones. I do like his stuff.
You like Warcraft? Big fan of
I actually haven't seen Warcraft.
I never knew he made Warcraft.
It's a weird film. Now, that is a film that is very, very, very faithful to the computer game, though. But it is a car crash of a film. It's terrible.
Well, the thing is, it's a huge property, right? And to any filmmaker to have that sort of world to jump into and go wild with, it's a dream. You can see why he did it, but I don't think it's really suited to him.
Well, I think it was taken off him as well. Anyway, I think it's his fault why it's rubbish. But, yeah. Moon, is that him?
Moon. I like Moon.
We haven't done Moon, have we? Have we not?
No, we should.
Have we not done Moon?
No, we should do Moon.
What else has he done?
Do Moon then. He did. There's that newer one. What's it called? Mute.
Oh.
Short film, it says on here, called Whistle. So, source code. So this is supposedly science fiction. I think it is. Well, it's science fiction.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And so it's one of them kind of annoyingly. I used to find them annoying because you see the trailer and they're like high contrast imagery, Gylenhaal in a train, and you could tell it was like some sort of Groundhog Day situation. I just was like, I wasn't suckered in because that stuff seems highly boring to me. Like, I wasn't going to go see that in the cinema. Do you guys see this in the cinema?
Yeah, I did.
No, I didn't.
I did, I think, anyway. I've definitely seen it before. I think I saw it in the cinema, yeah.
I remember this film very well for a very weird reason. So I sat and watched this film with my wife, and in the first 5 minutes, I was like, I could really just talking, we watch it on TV. I said, I could really have a cake or something, like a donut. I'm really, really hungry, right?
Get the gatto.
And she said, she paused it and said, are you joking? She said, there's a Dunkin' Donuts on the woman's bag. She's like, you've been completely sucked in by that mug. And I was like, what? And she rewound it, and there's in the very first scene.
Wow.
When it cuts to the long shot, the woman's bag.
I could really have a donut or something.
Yeah, and I'd just been... I don't know why, I just really fancy a sweet,
great.
a cake or something, and it just got me. I've never been hit by product placement.
Fuck me.
So this time when I watched this, I tried to pick out all the Dunkin' Donut logos, and there's quite a few.
Oh, are there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all very quick subliminal ones. They're they're flashes.
Did they get cash? Did it say anywhere where they get cash for that?
They must have. Right? I couldn't find it, but they're very quick.
You're laughing with one of these Groundhog Day movies, aren't you? Because you can keep replaying the fucking thing.
So the three, we'll get this over with now. The three places are: she's got a little bag on her chair.
Yeah.
The second one is the napkin that he's writing the logo on. It's got a Dunkin' Donuts logo on the back.
Yeah.
And then the third one is when he walks into the buffet carriage, there's quite a big Dunkin' Donuts logo.
Got you.
part of the cafe of the buffet car.
They're kind of hard hitting.
And how were the 3 cakes that you ate during that film? were they a hit?
I didn't preload this time. I should have just bought a bag of donuts and put them in front of myself and just been like, ah.
It is real, this placement business. I watched that Founder, the McDonald's thing. I had a McDonald's for about 10 years, and I watched that Founder film and literally went and bought like a fucking 20 quid's worth of McDonald's. And that's a lot of McDonald's.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot.
This film made me want to go to Chicago. That's my memory of it, is that I really wanted to go to Chicago because of it. I like the ball thing at the end. I remember the ball thing, and also the shots of flying over at the start. It just looks nice, Chicago. I've not been.
It's very nice shots. Yeah. Most of it wasn't... I don't think it was filmed in Chicago, like some of it, though.
Well, it's on a train, isn't it? But I mean, the shots of the city just look like... I would want to go there.
It's like the end of Trains, Planes and Automobiles. It's like in the same suburban bit of Chicago, right? So it is nice, that opening bit. And I was looking at... I had to stop it and rewind it because the train was going backwards. And I thought...
Oh, was it?
Because the engine was at the back and it was pushing the trailer, the carriages.
Oh,
and I didn't... Well, I did, because I thought, is that a thing of the film? And then I had to see whether they'd reverse the footage and see whether the cars were going the right way. And they hadn't. It's just the trial that train worked. It just threw me. It threw me because I'd never seen that before.
No. It's a double-decker train as well, isn't it? Which you don't see much.
But
I thought
also,
they were in Holland.
There's an interesting fact with those. I watched a video. Like the double-decker, they only have single seats because they have to... You know how it's like you can see up to the second deck?
Yeah.
It's like a union thing. It's like the conductor has to see the whole carriage, so they couldn't actually build it with like normal. Like it's almost useless, the second deck, because there's only like one row of seats.
So no one sits up there.
No, otherwise they'd have to literally have a conductor on both levels of the.
Wow.
Yeah. Little union offshoot there of the chat. So. Yeah, we're seeing the suburb. No, I like the build-up of it. It had that sort of, House of Cards type feel to it. Build up like Aaron Sorkin style.
Tense music all around.
Yeah. So he's on a train. Blah blah blah. Do we get much chat before the first explosion?
Yeah, he's like, he's where he is. Don't know who he is and where he is.
Don't know where he is.
Freaking
don't know where he is.
And,
don't know what
she's doing a little spiel about, I took your advice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to Brian. All that stuff, yeah.
And he's just very
it's all
confused.
weird. Very confused guy.
Well, he's not him, is he?
He plays confused. No. Well, we find out it's not him. Blows up. And then...
and then he blows up. He looks in the mirror. It's not Jake Gylenhaal.
Yeah, and he sees somebody else.
Oh, yeah. He sees someone else.
And his driver's license says someone else as well.
So I hadn't seen this before.
Me?
Yeah,
Alex. You covered your mic.
You'd never seen it before?
I hadn't seen it before.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well.
So, but I'd sussed it quite soon.
I
think I'd sussed it. No, I hadn't. No, at this point, because he goes back to the thing and he wakes up and he's got the sort of the talk of
what he's doing.
The woman talking him around. Did he keep going to Maggie Gylenhall?
No, she's not in it.
Yeah, but I think the woman's face, was I imagining that?
Yeah, it's Vera Farmigiana or Parmigiana.
Yeah, but I thought it kept flashing to Maggie Gyllenhaal's face for some reason.
You've got that's probably because Maggie Gyllenhaal advertising.
I think it's because it's going between his face and her face, probably.
He looks a bit
that
like
I saw Maggie Gyllenhaal in the middle.
Wow. You're hallucinating a Gyllenhaal.
That is mental.
Third dimension. You're in another dimension.
Yeah. So he wakes up in this, he wakes up in this thing and he's got the woman talking to him. But he goes through like this identity check.
I like that bit.
Yeah,
I like that as well. The cards.
Because she starts saying it, and then he just like starts just repeating it back, but like auto. Yeah. I like all that. I liked all that.
Is it like a weird like?
Is it like a cockpity type thing?
Yeah. And there's stuff dripping. I don't know, and they don't really explain the dripping stuff, do they?
Is that more or less like where he died? Do you think?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. I didn't think of that. That
maybe.
Makes sense,
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. It's so you kind of find out that he's in communication with this woman who's like in this call center, because it really is like she's in a call center. It's not like they're part of like some, Pentagon
no
operations center.
No.
Like that whole like area she's working, and then that guy a boss comes in.
Yeah.
Who I really like that actor.
Oh
whatever
yeah,
his name is.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright, I like him, but I think he's not really good in this at all.
He's not very good in this.
No,
but
he's obviously a baddie from very early on, isn't he?
Even the way he looks at the screen's a bad guy look, isn't he? Like
yeah. But that's kind of why I think he's a good actor. I'm doing the quotation marks, because you expect him to be a bad guy all the time, and now he's cast as good guys.
True.
Yeah.
So you are getting bad guy vibes off him, and he's a good guy. So don't you think the headquarters where she works just looks like RoboCop, down the precinct?
Yeah,
it just looks like the normal like police precinct. It doesn't make any sense at all.
There's not many of them either. There's like one other tech bloke and then a couple of other like office workers or something, isn't there?
I'm guessing this film is quite low budget. Is that?
Well, I don't know. Well, I guess so. Yeah, 31 million. I guess. Yeah, it is. Because it does look like NCIS Miami or something, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it does. It does definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like looped into this. This guy's obviously trying to figure out where he is, and the upshot is that he keeps getting sent back to this reality, and each time we are drip fed a little bit of information.
Yep.
So I think on the first, before he goes back the first time, we learned that he's got 8 minutes.
Yeah.
To basically learn as much as he can from this scenario.
He's got to find the bomb, hasn't he? Who's
who's
the bomber?
And so he's basically thrown back in quite quickly to interact with the same people. And then we see a few other characters going on here. There's like this comedian guy who's supposed to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And there's is that Will Poulter? That kid with the glasses, dressed in black. I think it is, isn't it?
I don't know.
Played by Will Poulter.
Let me fact check for you.
Basically, he's trying to find this bomber, so he's going a bit frantic first time round. He's going, "Oh yeah, you look dodgy. You're on your laptop."
He's quite good though, isn't he? Because he does just do what it's not like other films like this. He does just grab people and just beat them up pretty quickly.
Yeah, but they're telling him just to kind of just do anything, right?
Yeah, and he also does it for the first few. He just thinks it's a simulation. So he doesn't think there's any consequences to his actions, does he?
Yeah, he thinks he's in some sort of like a training sim, I guess. Or something.
I can confirm it is not Will Poulter.
It isn't?
No.
Oh, right. It looks a bit like him. So...
Is there a film with Maggie Gylenhall and Will Poulter in that Chris watched by mistake this week?
And that definitely wasn't Maggie Gylenhall.
Are you watching two films at the same time?
I could have fucking sworn that was Maggie Gylenhall.
It's definitely.
It was like it was flashing between a woman's face and Maggie Gylenhall. I thought, oh, they're both in this. I thought,
oh, hang on. There is a flash when he comes back. You see the girlfriend's face. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, you don't. Like literally, she's in the uniform. It's the woman, and it goes.
Okay. Has Maggie Gylenhall replaced one in a uniform?
Must have.
Secretary. That's a sort of uniform.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
are you googling Maggie Gylenhall uniform?
Yeah,
maybe
he is. Maybe.
Yeah. So he thinks it's a simulation.
Off.
Yeah. So the explosion goes off again, but then he wakes up in his capsule and he's like demanding more information from the people, from the people. So, we learn a bit more. So he's got 8 minutes. He needs to identify the bomber.
Yeah.
And then he does explain the whole purpose of what's going on here, doesn't he? He goes, so from death, they get like 8 minutes.
He says before that, he says that this was the first attack.
Yeah.
And that it's a statement of intent that there's been one attack already this morning and people were died.
The whole side of like what the bomber is about and why it's happening, I kind of really didn't latch onto, right?
No, that's true. No,
we don't really care about that, right?
No, it's not really important, is it?
But there's a bomb on the train, and then that's like a preempting a dirty bomb in the city,
Chicago.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know why you do that.
No. In the real world, the bomb happened in the morning, and they are on the same day now evacuating the city, aren't they? Because the bomb happened later in the day.
Yeah.
But how do they know? Out, though, do they? Because if that guy, when you see that guy later on get off the train with his van, he would have got to the city and blown it up in like an hour. But they appear to be doing this thing with Jake Gylenhaal for absolutely ages, don't they? So anyway, the times are all out there. I mean, every time he goes past the back, the 8 minutes gets longer and longer until he appears to be doing all sorts of crap in the 8 minutes, doesn't he?
Yeah, it turned into like Groundhog Day where he was having piano lessons and stuff, right? He's doing ice sculptures. So he is. So they explain the science behind it, which is they've got access to the dead guy who was on the train.
Yeah.
And you have 8 minutes of his memory stroke reality.
Yeah. Your brain, the brain is open after death, I've written down, and also there is a short-term memory that is track of 8 minutes long.
Yeah. So
that they kind of keep the brain open, they keep that 8 minutes going.
Yeah.
So he's synced up to be this bloke for those 8 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, it's a bit weirdly like Edge of Tomorrow, bits of it aren't, kind of, isn't it?
Edge of Tomorrow makes more sense because that is time travel.
Yeah, they're going into an actual war, aren't they?
This is what I didn't really get with this because they say, they literally like lean in and go, okay, so this is how the science works. In case you were wondering, it's the body can remember the last 8 minutes, right? And we're using that. So then I come away from it thinking, so what the senses of this person took in them last 8 minutes is what the information they have. This guy didn't walk down the carriage and go into the guards thing and get a gun and etc. etc. So he doesn't know any of that exists. So that's not within the bounds of what's in this guy's brain.
You'd be riding along on the guy's 8 minutes, his actual 8 minutes.
Yeah, but right at the very end they do acknowledge that, don't they? It's not very satisfactory. They do acknowledge that there's something else going on.
It's not very satisfactory at all, no. But they do kind of acknowledge
that, like, there's something more going on, because he shouldn't be able to get off the train or anything, should he? Or know the internal thoughts of how.
I wonder what was going to happen when he finally got off the train, because it's like, well, when does the game end now?
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got like an end game, but then he falls on the tracks and gets run over by a train. And it's like, that doesn't, what?
I thought
it's like Drag Me to Hell or something.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be good, though, if like the simulation did kill him? If he tried to not die in the bomb, it would always kill him a different
Final
way.
Destination, you always end up dead anyway.
Yeah, I thought that would
It's also weirdly like a giallo film called Eight Flies on Grey Velvet, where there's an imprint of an image that someone's killed, and on their retina is an imprint of an image, the last image they saw.
Right.
So they basically, halfway through the film, they get this image, and it's this 8 flies on some grey velvet, and that's like the clue that then gets them to the killer.
Right.
So it's kind of that idea as well, that like there's something left over when you're dead.
I think the essential idea of solving a crime scene by going back over and over again in an 8 minute thing is a good idea.
Yeah.
It just doesn't stay that, does it?
Did they only like retrieve the brain of that one guy? Surely they'd have the brains from all the other people on the train, right?
Doesn't he say that, like, this thing about the DNA with that one guy?
It matches his body.
That's weird. That's the
excuse for that.
Yeah.
It would make more sense, though, if they'd got everyone's sense.
Yeah, if it did cover the whole train's geography and you could move around, because you could literally jump between all the bodies, that would be kind of another
it stitched all their 8 minutes together to make like a map, like of the thing.
And the whole train's being scanned by them 8, during them 8 minutes by all them eyeballs, you know.
Yeah, that'd have been really cool.
I think what this film did, there's a technological thing this film does where they do that freeze frame thing. They do it right at the end, mostly.
Yeah.
And it's that, it became popular in like social media where everyone freezes, and then you do the camera, it goes around the office.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but it's probably got a name. You know, where it's like that. It's like that moment in time.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing.
It's
And
it.
then
like
it
bullet time,
restarts.
but not, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it in this. I really don't. You know, when it moves through the whole carriage and everyone's frozen.
It's some good effects. I think when he jumps off the train, it looked pretty good as well.
Yeah.
There's a bit where he jumps off and rolls along the floor, and I thought that looked pretty good as well.
But the whole thing held together.
Yeah.
Nicely.
So anyway, so it is told that is in an experimental machine. It reconstructs the memories of dead people, and on his next run, he needs to do. On the next run, he finds out that he's actually has been killed.
Yeah.
So he actually asks the girl.
Oh yeah,
to,
look
I don't
him
know
up,
if she's like some journalist or something.
But no, she's got the internet. She's got Bing on her phone.
Yeah,
She's got Bing on the phone.
But again,
right?
this sense memory has got the internet in it. You know,
Yeah,
the
how does
whole of
that
the
work?
internet.
it falls apart when you deconstruct it quite a lot.
Well, I
It
mean,
doesn't stop it being entertaining though.
Yeah, no. The problem is, and I said again, like the very end of it justifies it in a way. But the problem is that's the end, isn't it? So at this point, you're like, well, like all this stuff, as it gets more ridiculous and more out there, you're just like, this doesn't make literally no sense at all, you know. But
But I think that's sort of like the penny dropping of it being really time travel should have been like a real penny drop in the film. Like in the sense of, I know it's difficult to say the audience along on that because it's but because it is a big drastic difference in what they're saying, right?
But also, I think the reason you can't is because it would be too much to explain it if they did it earlier on, and also wouldn't make much sense still. I don't think you can. I don't think time travel would be enough of a. You know, it would be a different film, wouldn't it? If you actually explained this time travel earlier, I think it would. This film doesn't want to do that.
Yeah.
No.
This is this is very Hitchcockian, isn't it? And like it's trying to make kind of a cleverly constructed plot.
It's a high concept. It's like a Twilight Zone sort of episode or something. So he finds out by using Bing or whatever and his mates, and he doesn't borrow a phone off a woman as well. He does his own
That's the Bing one,
research.
yeah.
He finds out that because at the beginning he says, "Oh no, he's a helicopter pilot."
Yeah.
So we find out that he's actually been killed in action, and
his dad's chatting about
a
it
couple of months ago.
Yeah,
and his dad's.
Do you know who his dad is?
Who's his dad?
Scott Bakula.
What, really?
Quantum Leap, yeah. That's the
Oh, so they're proper owning that it is a bit like Quantum Leap.
It is a bit like Quantum Leap.
Isn't
Did
it?
they do that on purpose?
You'd think so, wouldn't you? It can't be a mistake, can it?
No,
It's a weird guy to get for a voice role unless you're trying to make the...
Yeah.
I was
it must
thinking
be.
it's like Quantum Leap, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it must be.
It's a bit like Quantum Leap and a bit like Minority Report. It's got bits of things going on, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like different
Groundhog Day.
little things, yeah. So he is dead, and then when he has a reconnect, when he dies again, and he talks to the woman in the control room back at NCIS Miami.
Yeah.
He's asking like, "What's around?" I only speak to my dad, blah blah, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, we'll sort that out. But it's finally the penny finally drops that he has been used, as to solve these potential terrorist attacks.
Yeah.
They use a dead person from a war zone, and they've got his body alive somewhere, and in the office there in NCIS Miami, and they are using him to look into the past. Now, there's a bit of an argument. There's a bit of a to and fro, like about the moralities of it. And then the boss, what's his face, finally goes like, "Oh well, most people would really, if they died, they'd want to serve their country some more."
It's stupid, yeah.
And it's like, oh fuck me, this is so American.
I did appreciate them getting to the fact that he's dead. My memory of the film was that was the end of the film. You found out he's dead, and I was glad it happened earlier. Yeah, because it was getting a bit.
But it's good as well because then the scientist takes over and just starts shoving him back in really quickly and not giving him breaks, and he's it kind of starts all merging.
But they give him like an ultimatum of like, this is you now, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And he's obviously like, he's a soldier, so he's kind of used to doing what he's told anyway.
Well, they do say that, don't they? They say, like, if you find the bomber for us, we will kill you, don't they? They say we'll release you if you do.
Yeah.
Which is kind of grim. It's got a little bit of RoboCop going on there as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's Mike committed to solve that. You know, even go to him and they go, yeah, go and shoot some people. Like, go and solve.
It doesn't matter. Like, they're all dead anyway,
This guy is like some fucking, boss hog in the police, in the fucking police headquarters going, yeah, basically do whatever you want. It's like a video game. Just go shoot anyone. Just get us that information.
You know what I didn't get, right? Like, if you were Jake Gylenhaal, would you be so keen to die? Like, I'm not sure I'd be like, so like, I want to.
You're dead. You're dead already, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, do you want to be fucking around in this video game or do you want to just be dead?
I think there'd be more of a debate to be had with yourself, wouldn't there? Don't you think?
Yeah, a bit more. Especially because there's times where it's quite nice. He's just hanging out with that woman, giving her a kiss, being snazzy about, oh, hey, mind your coffee. Like, he's doing all that stuff. Like, he's kind of getting a perfect run, getting a high score.
I don't know, I just felt it was a bit kind of... I didn't really get why he was so adamant that he wanted to die.
Yeah.
Well, we get the impression this is the first it's been used, this technology. Yeah. So the woman who's the operator is kind of becoming a little bit sympathetic to this guy and is, there's a difference between the boss guy and her in the sense of like the boss guy just wants results. So the guy... Jake Gyllenhaal essentially susses the dirty bomb guy out, doesn't he? He finds the van in the parking lot.
Do you know that because of the owners of the actual commuter station they planned to film in changed their terms at the last minute, a fake station had to be built in a car park. This meant the white van couldn't be prepared in time. The contents had to be simulated using CGI. The only thing in the back of the white van that is real is the Stars and Stripes box. Everything else is VFX.
Oh.
You can kind of see that, though, because the way they like line the box up with the camera and like fuck around with opening it.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to, like, you wouldn't think, though, like, oh, they'd have to do that because they couldn't shoot where they wanted to. Yeah.
Well, it shows you it's kind of seamless from our point of view, because until you said that, we didn't really know that, did we? So he finds this weirdo who's got this dirty bomb. Again, I don't know if it really makes sense how he blows up the train for kills like 20 people or whatever. And
what's his reason? Bomb. He just doesn't like the government?
He wants to set them all back to like Stone Age or some shit.
By blowing out a tiny little bit of Chicago. Like, what's
it doesn't make any sense.
The world is hell. We have a chance to start over in the rubble, but first there has to be rubble.
Yeah, like about 5,000 people have a chance to start over in the rubble. Everyone else just gets on with life.
I've also got that David Hann, the boy depicted in the 2003 made-for-television documentary The Nuclear Boy Scout, was the inspiration for this guy.
I read that.
I just thought he was just a guy who made a... Well, he wasn't going to kill people, was he? Or was he?
I can't remember. He definitely made a nuclear bomb at home, didn't he? That's the thing, that guy, isn't it? I can't remember why he did it.
Yeah. Because he could.
It was like out of a microwave or something, wasn't it? I don't know.
I think so.
But So basically, the guy's, he's stopped. He's figured him out.
Yeah.
But
he fucks up this one, doesn't he? Because the bomb does still go off. Because there's two detonators.
Yeah. But then he figures out the guy must be on the train earlier. So he basically has a bit of a heart-to-heart with the operator woman and is like, oh, just let me have one more go. I think I can say... Oh, because he's always been obsessed with saving people, hasn't he, from the train? But he's like, no, this isn't like reality you're messing with. This is just like... Well, this is where it didn't make sense for me.
No, I really like this. I thought it was really cool. Because I think I like that... So when he comes back, he tells them, like, the plates and all that. And then you just see this rubbish bit of news footage where they just pull the van over and arrest him. Yeah. And that's like, I thought, that's actually really realistic. But then the film kind of has its cake and eats it because they've stopped it in the real world. But then Gyllenhaal's like, I want to go back and do a perfect run and get like the best, like 100% top marks.
Yeah.
So it's like you finish the level, but then it's like you're replaying it. And I quite like the idea that the film has this realistic way of solving it, and then you get this kind of hero vibes of him being able to go back in.
Was he aware that they were just going to turn him off, though? Well,
Yeah,
they're
he
just gonna
says
kill
once
him.
I've
He
finished.
wants to be turned off, doesn't he?
Yeah, he gives him 8 minutes. She says, "I'll give you 8 minutes, one more 8 minutes, and then I'm turning you off."
But also,
basically.
though, like that's not really what he's doing, is it? Because he's already worked out that it's actually changing time, hasn't he?
But has he?
Well,
There's a lot.
he has, 'cause he
Isn't
goes
there
back
a
in,
lot
he
of
sends
ways
that
to
email,
see the
doesn't
end
he?
of this film?
But he sends the email.
I think it's just trying shit. I don't think it's really sussed it.
Couldn't
I
he
think
be in heaven at the end?
No, because
This is it. I mean, at the end, when he's kissing her and it all stops, it's like, are we seeing a real thing there, or are we just seeing like a romanticised?
Yeah, I think
no.
I think he could just be dead.
No, because you see the bit at the very end when the woman's got the email from him in the morning that it happened.
But that could just be a fantasy of a heaven, a fantasy of his afterlife. Or
but then it's his consciousness in this guy's consciousness.
Well, yeah, that's the big factor.
No, that guy, his life's been saved by Gyllenhaal, hasn't it? Because but none of that ever happens because the bomb never happens.
No, he's the guy. The guy's gone.
No.
The guy's dead.
But we see them walk up to that mirrored thing, and it's Gyllenhaal.
No, none of that happens. None of that ever happens because he sends the He sends emails to that woman, doesn't he, saying about what's going to happen, what the thing is.
Yeah.
Right? And when we see her go in to the bloke, to Jeffrey Wright at the end, to go and like talk to him about it, he says, there was going to be a bomb on the train this morning, but it got defused.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but Gyllenhaal's still there, isn't he? So he's changed that, and then he's come out of that reality, whatever. So life carries on. That guy.
Well, no, he sent an email from the experience.
Yeah, but then in the real world, the bomb thing because then Jeffrey Wright's like, eventually we'll get a chance to use his tech one time.
Yeah, but that shit they showed us where they're kissing and then they go off on dates and go to that mirrored fucking ball thing and they're staring at it and then it's a reflection of a different guy at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's just for our benefit. That's not like reality or invention in that world.
No,
because
but the fact it didn't happen is real, isn't it? Like the fact that he stopped it happening, that's the real world, isn't it?
But then you're wrong. Then that means Gyllenhaal is in that Sean guy.
That's what didn't make sense to me.
His consciousness is gone. That man is dead.
Because Gyllenhaal's consciousness is now superimposed on this guy who's supposed to be dead.
Yeah, that man is dead. Yeah.
But that man's not dead because.
But how can Gyllenhaal
I know he's not dead, but they still show Gyllenhaal holding her hand in this fucking museum.
Yeah, but
the man's consciousness is dead.
Anymore. That reality doesn't exist because he stopped the train.
But the man's consciousness is dead.
Yeah, but it's right at the end of the film, so how can they say it doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
Well, this is why the film's no good, isn't it? Because of all these, it doesn't make any sense.
If it wasn't at the very end of the movie,
but
and he wasn't like happily ever.
The very end is a walk into the office of the guy and saying,
it's not the very end. Okay?
The very end is him saying there was the bomb.
But it's the very end we see of him in his dream world stroke heaven. That's what I was taking it as. But then I see him dead and ready to go on a new mission.
Yeah.
So now there are two Gyllenhaals.
No.
Yes.
No, because he's finished. The mission's happened or whatever, and that timeline's gone on with him being inside the brain. But in like prime our timeline, you're saying it's a tree situation. I think so.
Well, how does he send a text across timelines?
Well, I don't know. That's whatever happened.
Because he sent it at the tree, at the sprouting of the new branch.
I think the implication is that Jeffrey Wright is always sat at the desk going, there's never a chance to use this. Because
I did think that is pretty funny, It's like there's no time travel because no one's come back yet.
If there was like a serialised version of it, it'd be a really shit TV show because he'd be going...
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
If we just had the chance to show it, and he's just reading newspapers like... narrowly avoided.
And then the end of each episode, he's got like a bigger glass of whiskey, and he's like, "God damn it! One day we'll get to use it."
Only we can use our technology.
Yeah, Vera just gets another text and like does a little like.
Yeah.
Did it again.
It's like Murder, She Wrote. Basically, he's texting like the episode synopsis at the end of every...
But then the end of the series would be the place gets shut down because it's never used.
They lose their funding.
Everything gets blown up because nothing there to stop it from happening.
They pull the plug and then everyone starts dying in the world.
They didn't realise they were saving stuff all the time.
That's a great show.
Yeah, I'd watch
They
it.
pull the plug... And then everyone starts getting nuked.
Well, did you see IMDb contains an entry for a source code 2, written by the same guy but directed by someone else. It says it's announced. I mean, there's no point. Why would you make another one?
There's no point. It's so tedious, the whole concept of it. It's an interesting thought, experiment.
Yeah, it's done in one film.
But we've done it.
Yeah, you don't need to do it again. Yeah.
So... Yeah, I mean, you can come at the end from a few different angles. Yeah. As I say, they do really push him as like they're kissing, and then she unplugs him, and then he's in heaven.
Yeah,
and it's like whatever he thinks that will go on. He's fallen in love with this girl in what is effectively about 40 minutes of his own time.
Yeah.
And then we see them on a date, and reflection, and it's not him. But then we see him in the control room again.
Yeah,
they've got it. It's good that they show his body with like no legs and stuff.
His
That's
brain
quite good.
missing on the back. It's a bit.
It's really crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah. I like all the reveals. Really good. It's stupid, but it's enjoyably stupid.
Yeah. So we've got, as I said, we've got tones of RoboCop. We've got tones of all the different time travel-y type things. I'm not quite sure what it is in terms of time travel, but that's quite interesting in its own sense in terms of the genre.
It's also very brisk. It's only like an hour and a half, isn't it? Like a nice quick film.
Yeah. I'm not sure it could be much longer, given the.
No.
It would outstay its welcome. Definitely. That train interior, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
So that pretty much wraps up the story element. But what do you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I did the first time around. I think it is silly, and it is a bit like when you pick it apart and you think about it too much, it doesn't really make any sense. But I think it's tight. It doesn't outstay its welcome. Like I say, I like how it kind of has its cake and eats it in this kind of, that he gets this kind of redemptive. And I think, when it pauses, you could see that as like, that's him, he's dead. And then I think post that is either fantasy or it's another timeline or it's this or this or whatever. But it doesn't really matter.
But it's not cut and dry, is it? And I kind of think it's not cut and dry, not for like artistic reasons. I think it's not cut and dry for like sentimental reasons.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yep.
But I guess it would raise too many questions if they just went, this is what it is. It would be, but I enjoyed it. I like Source Code.
Okay, Sam?
I enjoy it. It's a good film. I don't like the sentimental bit at the end. I don't like in pain the comedians like do a set and he's like, oh, everyone's so happy and great. All right, mate. All right, whatever. And also, Jeffrey Wright, he's rubbish in it. And that line he said was funny about America. And also, the bit at the end, he goes, we finally got a good tool against the war on terror. Which I'd like to think is satire, but knowing Americans, it's probably not, is it? So
no,
that was a bit gross. But overall, I appreciate the fact it's short, and I appreciate that
financial success.
The first time I watched it, the hook of him being dead and you know what's going on, that 8-minute thing was a good enough hook to get me through. It reminded me of like an episode of Poirot.
There's an episode of Outer Limits called The Black Box, which is very, very, very similar with Ron Perlman in.
It's a classic, like, it's the kind of film you don't really get anymore, isn't it? It's like not a blockbuster, and it's not indie, and it's like just, it's fine. It's like a date movie, isn't it? It's like
but it happened in them 2000 periods. You got this sort of movie, right?
This is the very end, isn't it, of this being a thing?
The very end, very end,
Chris, what did you think of it
then? When it first came out, I can remember it, and I can remember the trailer, and I can remember it being in the cinema, and it was like, I'm never going to see that film because it looks so fucking boring.
Wow. Okay.
Like, I just looked at it, I thought, for all them reasons, I go, that looks so tedious to watch. Like, why would I ever subject myself to that?
Okay.
And then...
Okay.
And then I
watched it, and it's like, oh, okay, I've seen worse things on this fucking podcast. This is not too bad.
Wow.
And also, Jake Gylenhaal's kind of annoying, isn't he? He does that sad boy thing.
No, it's a bit annoying.
He's all right.
He's all
Shame Maggie wasn't in it in the end.
We've heard, about you want Maggie in it,
Scott Bakula, though.
That's great.
My image search didn't show me any Gylenhall in uniform, so I'm not sure what you're thinking of.
Pity.
That's literally a hallucination I had then, because I had it on in...
I did find out that David Hann, he thought that people were trying to electrocute his testicles. That's why he created the nuclear bomb. So he was like, he was nuts, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
I think if there was more... There's not enough, tension in the... Like, there's no motive to the guy who's doing the blowing up.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
like you said earlier on, he's not important, is he? But it would be better if he was.
No. It is funny earlier on when he just sees the Arabic-looking guy and follows him. She even says, doesn't she, "Oh, that's racial profiling," and then he's really annoyed that it isn't him, and he beats him up. I think he beats him up anyway. Like he just beats the bloke up. Like,
but in a post Afghanistan, Iraq sort of war situation.
Yeah,
this film kind of really sinks into that slot because they are like, even when he dies, they're like going, "Oh yeah, you should want to serve your country even after you're dead." Blah blah blah. But also, I think what they should have done is it would have been interesting if the guy who was blowing the city up was maybe a veteran himself and was maybe like it had like demobbed. And then realised that they weren't looking after him in his retirement. And that's why he wanted to blow up the country. And then that would have been a very nice little counterpoint to him being half dead in a capsule, and them taking advantage of him.
Yeah,
in that sense as well. So that would have been quite interesting.
I mean, literally any motivation for that guy would be more interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, literally. And it wouldn't have been taken much. I think we were talking 30 seconds in the film would have done what we needed it to do.
Yeah.
So really, it's a minor issue if you consider that it's a minor fix to fix it.
Yep.
So, but all in all, a very, entertaining movie.
It's just
it's just a solid film, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's solid. So what are we talking in terms of the rank here?
Time Cop is at 108. I'm just throwing out.
So we've been talking.
I love Time Cop.
So the tones this sort of touches on. We're talking like RoboCop. We're talking.
RoboCop's a lot higher.
Obviously. What else we're talking? Minority Report.
Where is Minority Report?
Where's Minority Report? Isn't that quite low? Did we not like Minority Report? Is that right?
No.
I forgot.
Predestination.
185.
That's the 122.
What was that one?
That's the one with Ethan Hawke one.
I know, and the woman out of Succession in it, and she's a boy.
Yeah.
Minority Report is 185.
I think in this 100 something range.
Not as low as Minority Report.
No, it's better than Minority Report.
I'd put it over RoboCop 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Better than Mission to Mars.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, that's at 112. It's better than that.
That's erroneous. I would put it, Flatliners, 153.
Better than Jurassic World and Jurassic Park 3.
Ooh.
Where are they?
1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 2, 4. Is this too high?
That's erroneous as well. This is all going to shit, isn't it?
It's better than Sunshine as well.
It's better than Sunshine.
It's a mess
Sunshine
is shit. It really is. All sorts going on. I guess because when we can't agree, it all gets looked into a little bit, doesn't it?
Maybe we should have done a re-ranking on the 250.
I don't think it's
a concise re-ranking.
Sort it all out.
I don't think it's better than Mad Max, but I do think it's better than THX 1138.
No, I don't think it's better.
Okay.
No,
you don't?
No, I don't think
okay. Well, is it better than the Jurassic? See, I think Chris will just say any Jurassic film is better than.
I don't think.
You know what? I'd put it at 126.
126.
I was going to say that. Below Generations.
Below Generations.
What the fuck's Daryl? There's so many films I can't remember what.
Daryl, the one about the kid that's a robot.
I can't remember that.
He escapes. He's a robot. He escapes. Ends up just living with some random people.
I'll take your word for that.
And then
Are you sleeping in your own home movies?
No. And then these shady people that made him go and get him back.
Oh God, that's 1985. That shit. Okay, so
above Daryl.
Yeah, so we're above Daryl, below Star Trek Generations. The Star Trek films form a very hard boundaries for me in the list.
We know.
So we're sticking source code in 126.
We should watch Moon though. I bet that will do.
Yeah, we should watch
Moon. Yeah, because that's firmly.
Should we watch Moon next?
Genre.
Yeah, let's watch Moon next.
Yeah, we'll watch Moon next.
Okay, so we're going to end the alternative dimension season with source code.
What's his name, the director? Dave
Duncan Jones.
Duncan Jones. Dave Jones.
Dave.
You know.
You might not know this, but it's Dave Bowie's son. Do you know that one?
Yeah. Isn't he not called Duncan Jones? Isn't he really called something
Like Zoe Bowie, isn't he?
Zoe Bowie.
Isn't he Zoe Bowie? I think he is, yeah.
Zowie Bowie.
Yeah.
Oh, all the... Well. Okay, cool. Okay. So, next
week's Moon.
Next week is Moon. Another Duncan Jones, which we shall look forward to. And who's going to do that?
It'll be me.
Sam.
It'll be Sam.
Sam on the moon.
Okay, cool. So, that's
Sam Rockwell is in the film.
Sam Rockwell
All
is
the
in
Sams.
the film.
Yeah.
All the Sams. So, that's a 1, 2, 6 in the list. And a very serviceable movie in source code.
Yeah.
And that's great. Okay, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.